computers. To do what? To do its qualitative search engine process versus quantitative. And that's what these shows should be reminded with the MIT C-Cell 150-year celebration in April, in which I will be attending, and Alan Gooch should be telling the CUW funding issues as well as Tron Legacy Prize not to fail this fall. Bob Gallucci by the other three foundations, Ford, Carnegie, and Rockefeller, of David Rockefeller Jr. His keen speeches to the four foundations Empire Strikes Back leadership teams to act on, and to tell these show that they sanction my recommendations for this and this IBM Watson computers. Do its qualitative strategy thinking versus quantitative. Let's take a look at some of the other things that we've looked about. Here's Anton, the supercomputer. What else can we see? Oh, we saw that already. Let's see. What interview questions did the Shaw Group ask Larry Summers? Let's take a look at it and tell YouTube people to vote on my ideas for the recommendations for qualitative strategy teams using IBM Watson, and tell IBM Watson and its CEO and development team, Mr. Ferrucci, to tell the Shaw that. The fact of the matter is that these show basically ask questions that are of no possible answer. Took a hint from Star Trek's 1965 television show for Starfleet Academy graduates. In order to graduate, they have to answer a question that has no answer and no right or wrong. Let's take a look at what else is here. A peek behind the curtain these show. He has to make a lot of cuts. He lost his 4th and 5th ranking number of assets in management amount of hedge funds. This guy, 40 years old, is the youngest member of his executive committee. And Dennings, one of the older ones. And of course, he had to lose some of his huge fees being charged, and of course, he lost some considerable money this past year. And he's quite secretive with his proprietary trading, but you can tell him he's secretive because he's probably a little bit paranoid, because he doesn't have to give away the real secrets if he was really a good salesman. No good salesman ever gives away any real secrets, used car salesman or not. And that's a peek into these show by the key speeches of Empire Foundation Strike Back teams. Eric Kronstadt, my former manager, when I was a summer student at IBM Watson Research, Yorktown Heights, New York, Westchester. PhD Math, Harvard. Blue Jay Project. That's the one that won chess against Kasparov, or one game at least. Take a look at another crazy guy who won't tell anybody where he came from. This guy, Monty Deneau, people say he came from MIT Physics and AI Labs. No one really knows. When I was there, he was one of my managers as well. And the fact of the matter is that he would sit there and personally design integrated circuit computer CPU chips. Personally, dressed in jeans, not like this. During the midnight shift, non-stop, 12 hours. The man does not sleep. He told me one of the best red flags for being a genius or being smart is not to listen to other people and have other people tell you that you are wrong. CUW fundings, Margaret Stern, Alan Ruskin, Marcel Roden, Mr. Bagda, and Mr. Jack Villaverde, who doesn't read the USA Supreme Court of Mr. Roberts from Harvard Law, 8-1 robust muscular rulings on stores do not have the right to use NYPD cops to deny you a service or to kick you out of the store for talking back about their policies and their services and your needs. such as Mr. Villaverde's ulterior motive is to lie. And when that doesn't work, he makes up a urine in his seat issues when him and security guards did not confront me with fresh evidence at 6 p.m. or 11 p.m. The last time they saw me, the last time I was there at YMCA West 8 Lincoln Center, 63rd Street, on Central Park West. And these people must be fired for the ulterior motives to lie, like Stern, Foster Realty, Adam Ruskin, her husband, and of course the CWE fundings, and mostly significant fired by the King's Speeches, Honorable Speeches, Empire Strikes Back Foundation teams. We recommend the DE show, and of course my global warming ideas, about who people don't understand why the winters get colder, because of the cold air from the North and South Pole is created by global warming due to the gases that cannot move as easily while more concentrated equatorial belts plus or minus latitude, longitude, whatever, than it is moving freely, being sandwiched by the cold air from North and South Pole, trying to balance or rebalance the equation of temperature. That's why it's colder during the winter, and the gases do not create more warm winters. Tell Apple Store, Steve Jobs, Tim Cook, Jim Cook, and of course our iOS 4. Now remind them about this finally and Monty to know. There's this. And then there's this. Let's take a look at this. I'm playing a videotape from YouTube on how IBM destroys all humans in jeopardy. Okay, enough of that. Let's take a look at something else. Pause it here. Take a look at the King's Speeches whiteboards, sponsored by Federal Express. Conclusion.
Just opposite the park.
Let's see, what else?
Apple Store is
Monty Deneau, computer chip designer. Representative Holt, former Associate Director of Princeton Plasma Labs at Princeton University. March 9, 2011 to 18 p.m. The note. And of course, IBM Watson and D Show Qualitative Strategy Division purchasing the IBM and Watson computers. And let's see, what else should we look at here? So that already. So that already. So that already. There's this. There's this. And iLabs devices, Apple iOS 4.3, and my two iLabs devices versus the supercomputers, running Maple 14 software on iOS 4.3, and future updates for us from Jim Cook, the CEO, and Mathematica, Wolfram Research, put on App Stores, and our iLabs devices, and of course cloud computing as extended for paid services versus this. For this